Could you imagine going years eating foods and not making the connection to waking up feeling bloated, sluggish, and like you swallowed a brick? That was me. And shoot, I already had IBS, but my digestion was becoming more and more unpredictable. My energy was MIA, and I felt out of place in my body. That was until I realized that certain foods were no longer serving me. Today, I am sharing with you exactly what I stopped eating to feel my absolute best at 53 and being able to go from that to this. And believe me, some of these may surprise you and free you from your own struggles. Recently, I was indoors jumping double dutch with a few of my friends. We were talking about weight loss and overall health. And they asked me, Tressey, what about sweets? Because sometimes you just need something sweet, right? The sweet tooth, that's real. The tooth fairy, not so much. It's interesting when I think about it now. After a day of home educating my boys, when we came to the end of that day, I would find myself ducking into the kitchen, reaching way into the back of the cabinet to grab the bag of gummy bears and quietly opening the bag and grabbing and eating an entire handful. But here's the deal. That and other sweet treats, cookies, candies, and other sugar-loading stress relievers, they were wrecking me. At first, I didn't want to admit it. I mean, come on, a few gummy bears, some chocolate-covered raisins, truly those were not going to kill me, right? Nah, they didn't kill me. But what they did do, tank my energy. At one point, I was diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome, making my skin freak out, acne, skin discoloration, pale, pasty-looking skin, and my digestion, picture driving in New York. The question I have for you is, could the artificial sweeteners and dyes that come in your favorite sweet treats or your sugarless gum, could they be the reason why you find yourself sometime Usain Bolting it to the bathroom, or even worse, turning your stomach into a helium balloon? Yeah, not cute. Reluctantly, I traded in the candies and other hyper-palatable sweets for natural sweetness. Things like tiny portions of honey, dates, and whole fruits, which, by the way, have their own built-in cleansing fibers. And guess what? My stomach stopped rebelling. I actually lost 2 pounds off my waist. My cravings for sweets tapered down, and my energy returned. No medication needed. But now let's talk about something that seems healthy, but is it? A nice frozen ripe banana, chunks of mango, makes it so creamy, so smooth. I love a good smoothie. They're quick, easy, and you feel like you're doing something good for yourself, right? After standing in the reception area, paying my $25 copay, sitting in the doctor's office, doubled over in pain that felt worse than my labor pains, I was shocked and saddened that I didn't already know that just because something is packed with nutrients, it doesn't mean that our body wants to digest it, especially when it's cold. Because think about it. Have you ever drank a smoothie or a cold glass of water in the morning and suddenly your stomach felt like an ice rink? That was me every single time. Instead of questioning that, because I'm a smart person, I kept drinking them, convinced I was doing something good for myself. That day in the doctor's office, I learned from my Ayurvedic practitioner that cold, heavy foods slow our digestion, especially if you're already struggling with constipation and bloat or IBS. That knowledge hit home with me. So what to do? Because smoothies are good, convenient, and they can serve a purpose. First, I stopped drinking smoothies in the wintertime. Winters here in the Midwest are cold and heavy. Adding foods with similar qualities just started to feel off, and it opposed Ayurvedic teaching. Now, when I do have a smoothie, I do it in the summertime, and I keep the ingredients simple and few for easy, better digestion. My stomach is all the happier. My energy is stable. Now, if you thought giving up smoothies was rough, wait until we talk about it's the combination of the crunchy sound, the array of colors, the tanginess of the sauce. I love a good salad. I am a sucker for a good Caesar salad or Portillo's chopped chicken salad with that lemon poppy seed muffin. I was under the assumption that raw foods were healthier and best for us. I even did a 2-year stint as a raw vegan. I ate loads of kale, spinach, cucumbers, the works, thinking I was doing something great. I felt light. I had a lot of energy. I even lost some weight. Then slowly but surely, my digestion said, hold up, wait a minute. What I finally had to admit, my stomach does not love or remotely like salads. The fact is, raw food is rough. Literally. They take a ton of work to break down. And if your digestion isn't on its A game, all that good roughage, it's just gonna sit there, making you look and feel heavy, bloated, and well, backed up. In retrospect, eating cold raw foods in any weather below 70 degrees was me asking for problems. which is why it took me an entire year and over $5,000 to get my digestion back on track. Once I made the switch to eating my vegetables steamed, raw, roasted, cooked, everything changed. My digestion was smoother, my bloating went down, I started to enjoy my meals more instead of feeling like I was being punished by my stomach that I had affectionately named the beast. And speaking of punishment, you ever eaten something and instantly regretted it? For me, it's shrimp Alfredo with garlic bread. Every single time I'd finish that dish, I would instantly feel uncomfortable, sluggish, and bloated. I felt like everyone was looking at me and disappointingly shaking their heads going, look at her. She done stuffed herself again. But did that stop me from ordering that dish every date night? No. Believe it or not, I can be a tiny bit stubborn and hard-headed, just a little. After years of my body showing up to protest with adrenal fatigue, an enlarged spleen, depressed mood, and so much more, I finally started to listen to my body, to take care of my body, to know my body. I started to stay away from foods that I already knew how the story was gonna end. Rest in peace, shrimp Alfredo. In the beginning, it did take a strong act of discipline to abstain. Now it's a habit, it's a lifestyle. And my digestion, it's better. Not perfect, but better. I continue to reflect on the saying, one man's poison is another man's medicine, to help me to continue to say no to things that I know are not for my good, no matter how good it tastes. I mean, we've already done the forbidden fruit thing. Now here is where things really change for me. When I stopped, how often do you pop something into your mouth without really thinking about it? Eating while standing, eating in the car, eating while watching TV, your computer, or your phone. Let's be real, half the time, we're probably not even really hungry. We're just eating because we're stressed, bored, or looking for a distraction. Now think about how you felt after you popped that last bite into your mouth. My stomach hated it. Stretchy pants, here I come. You know, I wish I had learned earlier what I heard another content creator call eat with elegance. Some might call it eating mindfully, but eating with elegance. Doesn't that just scream good eating etiquette? Selective, customized eating. That sounds mature and evolved, doesn't it? What has me looking and feeling healthier at 53 is practicing to slow down when I eat, chewing each bite until liquid, actually tasting the food, the mix of textures and the combination of spices, taking the time to sit down, eat from a dish, instead of out of the bag like a raccoon at night. All of that not only benefited my digestion, it also helped me to cultivate a better relationship with food. And that's a pretty big deal when you're walking around with 70 pounds of excess weight. But here's the biggest shift. Something I had read when I was younger, but I hadn't really applied it to food, health, and fitness, is something that I read in Ecclesiastics, where it says, to everything there is a season, and a time for every purpose under heaven. Hear me when I say, how we ate in our 20s and our 30s, that's not going to work in our 40s and beyond. One of the biggest lessons that Ayurveda taught me was that our food needs to match the season and the season of life we're in. As we age, we need different types of food. This phase of life calls for foods that are warm versus cold, moist and oily versus dry, smooth versus rough, foods that ground, nourish, and stabilize us. And you'll know they're the right foods because you'll feel less anxiety, less fear, less depressed mood, less depleted. Understanding and practicing this, it's a game changer. Once I started eating foods that actually worked for my body during this phase of life, everything clicked. My appetite was healthier. I was able to combat and eliminate hot flashes in 2 weeks. I knew which foods to eat to easily lose over 70 pounds and to feel safe enough to get rid of my if I regain the weight wardrobe, because one of the key tools that Ayurveda gave me is the concept of the 6 tastes. Absolute gold. If you want to know how the 6 tastes can help you make better food choices without feeling restricted, I made an entire video on it. Remember, your body is always talking to you. The question is, are you listening to it?